I feel like a poster child for the High Fives Foundation and for Melon Hats. I want to tell you guys both, thank you so much for all of your support. I want you to imagine something with me. I want you to imagine sitting on a Tommy Bahama chair at the beach in Carlsbad with about a mile of coastline all to yourself, with the tranquilizing sound of the crashing waves, river rocks below your feet, a crisp, refreshing breeze, and white puffy clouds that seem to be true, that seem too good to be true, are overwhelming your senses as you drink water and spend time in active meditation, reading, writing, and spending time reflecting. Now, enter a couple of gnats flying around, landing on your reading material, and sometimes on your face. They only show up every couple of minutes, and even though they are barely visible, they seem to be the only thing that you can focus on. You see, I didn't have to imagine that because it was my reality while I was sitting on the beach. Now, some people can say you live in the most beautiful place in the world, which is absolutely correct. Some of the most amazing waves, the river rock. I had a mile of coastline that's all to myself. I'm sitting on the Tommy Bahama chair. I've got a remarkable tablet. Reach out to me, by the way. I'm writing, I'm reading, I'm in active meditation, and all I can focus on is these little tiny gnats that keep bugging me just on my face, on my arms, making me itch. But what God kept whispering to me is, son, do you not see the amazing waves? Do you not see the little white puffy clouds? Do you not see the coastline? Do you not see the fact that you rode your bike here in less than 5 minutes? And all I could think was, yeah, whatever, God, but these gnats are really making me mad right now, and they're annoying me, and it's almost making me want to leave this beautiful area that I was blessed to be able to be in. And see, Proverbs 14, it alerts us of the gnats that will inevitably arrive and encourages us to stay focused on the overwhelming blessings in our lives. And so I ask you today, with all the incredible blessings that are in front of you, all the amazing things, the fact that you have breath in your lungs, you woke up this morning, you have incredible kids, maybe you have a job, maybe you just lost your job, but you didn't like the job in the first place. Maybe your car broke down, but you had a car to be able to break down in. Maybe you stubbed your toe on something, but it happened to be a cabinet that you have that holds the TV that you're able to watch at home. What are the little gnats that are trying to take your focus? And so in Proverbs 14, it takes us right down that, and it helps us to understand that this life will never be without gnats, although it calls us to focus on the amazing, amazing blessings that God has put forth in our lives. So why don't we get this party started?
Nothing more on my mind. I got to shine, so every day I grind. Work in the morning, work in the evening. We's achieving, cause we believing. It's for certain, we put the work in. We ain't stopped just because it's hurting. Right before your eyes, so it's coming to no surprise. The takeover is televised. Over and over and over again. Make no mistake, we continue to win. Defeat never known, cause I will not lose. They wanna mimic my moves, but can't walk in my shoes.
Big shout out to melon hats. If you've got a big melon like myself, a melon hat works out absolutely amazing. I was given this limited edition by my friend Lonnie Paxton, a longtime Super Bowl champion. He won 3 Super Bowls with the Patriots, and guy is absolutely amazing. Melon, I want to give you a huge shout out to. You guys are incredible. I love your hats, and I love the fact that a big-headed dude like me with a big old melon can wear a melon hat. This is not a paid sponsorship at all. It's just the fact that I absolutely love them. I want to give a huge shout out to Mr. Roy Tuscany too. You are incredible. I love you, and you got the High Fives Foundation helping people with spinal cord injuries to experience life, to be able to adapt adapt and destroy all the barriers. You're incredible, man. I appreciate you, and we support your foundation. You can click the link in the bio. You want to get in touch with him, which is great. And I wanted to start off with those things because they're blessings in my life. These are relationships that I've had, and they're huge blessings. And but there's times where I get focused on the little gnats. I get focused on the little things that come in that take my focus off of the blessings that are there. And I ask you, like, what gnats are in your life right now? I don't even know. I think gnats are spelled with a G, silent G, but they make me mad. Honestly, like when I'm sitting at the beach and sometimes they keep hitting my legs. I'm like, why don't you just leave me alone? But those little gnats are taking the focus off, right? And so I ask you, like, what gnats are in your life right now? What are the little things that are just grinding you? And if you were to step back a little bit, you would realize that how blessed you absolutely are. And sometimes we just need those reminders. I got it yesterday while I was at the beach. And so in Proverbs 14, it just talked about this, and it alerted us, alerts us of the gnats that will inevitably arrive and in our lives, and encourages us to stay focused on the overwhelming blessings that he has brought before. And sometimes without the blessings that God has brought into our life, then the gnats wouldn't even have the opportunity to be there. Like I wouldn't experience the gnats at the beach if I didn't live like 2 blocks from the beach, and one of the most beautiful beaches in the world in Carlsbad. I want to encourage you today. April 12th is the Vibe Experience. Come check that out. And a way to be able to do it is you could become a founding member of our Substack. The way that we talk about it is if you want to read it, check out our Substack. It's a handwritten newsletter, first one in the industry to my knowledge, and it won't be for long because people are going to catch on. But the power of handwritten notes, I think, is so it is one of those things where when you get a handwritten note from someone, it really means something. And that's what I wanted to do with the newsletter. So if you want to read it, Substack, you want to listen to it, here you go. You're listening to it on the podcast right now. You can listen and watch it. If you want to experience it, come to the Vibe Experience. April 12th, we have, I think, one of the baddest curated rooms on the planet. It's not just the people on the stage, but the people in the audience. I tell you, they can all change. I mean, there's a person in the room that could change your life. And, and we bring people together. It's a vibe. And what is a vibe? It's not the energy you bring into the room, but it's the way that people feel when you leave, right? And so the way that you can do that is just take your heart, your mind, and your skills and put them in line. And that way a person knows that they can trust you and your vibe becomes irresistible. And that's what we're looking to do, with the Vibe Experience. And that encompasses the Vibe Room later on that night. It's unbelievable. April 12th. You could check the links for it, and you'll have an incredible time. So let's go into Proverbs 14. In verse 1 to 26 and 27, you will see what you focus on. Okay. And just to give a precursor, if it's the first time you're listening to the podcast, welcome. We do 3 different shows. We have a interview show where I interview some of the most iconic people in the world. They give advice to my kids by name. We also have this show, which is Inchstones. So we take you through the corresponding proverb, corresponding day. Sometimes it's not the exact corresponding, but you get the purpose. We want to be able to seek wisdom and encouragement at all costs, but we go to the source, 3,000-year-old wisdom. That's what we're doing. We're studying on it. And then we also have a show called You Have to Meet My Friends. And if you haven't checked that out, it's amazing. I go live and then call my friends randomly, and it's a lot of fun. So welcome to the show. And so in verse 1 to 26 and 27, you will see what you focus on. Whatever you focus on in your mind, whatever you focus on, think about this with social media. I talked about this the other day. Think about with social media. If you start talking about it, it shows up on your feed. You start talking about socks, they show up on your feed. They know how to be able to market, and it's just all they're asking for, like with your phone or with your devices. What are you focusing on? What are you focusing on right now? And I've been getting these things. I called my brother the other day, and it was so funny because we were laughing. I'm about to be 50. I'm turning 50 this year. So happy birthday to me in May. And I start getting all these 50-year-old ads. So like, are you struggling with a dad bod? And you take this supplement and it'll take it away, and all these things, longevity. And I'm getting marketed to, but there's no mistake on that. That's what I'm focused on. Like I'm focused on it because that's where I'm living. So wherever you're living at the time, whatever you're focusing on, like you'll see things that are inside that focus. So just be conscious of that. That's why we encourage you. Like for me, I encourage you to focus on wisdom. Now, wisdom doesn't have to be stuffy. It doesn't have to be that you have to be up in church all the time and things like that. It just means that we're seeking wisdom. What is wisdom? It's the right use of knowledge, and where can we get it? Through the fear of God or the respect of God. So in verse 3 and 5 and 7 and 25, what you focus on, you will talk about. This is one of those things where I love this because as I look at it with 3,000-year-old wisdom, it also applies to marketing. Like marketing is just, they want to get you to be able to focus on it. So then you'll go talk to your friends about it, right? Think of that. Think of it with my brother has one of the top law firms, if not the top personal injury law firm in all of Las Vegas, Cardenas Law Group. Now, what Rob does is because he gives you such great integrity-based service, he causes you to focus on all the great things that are happening during your time with him. And when you have an accident, not the greatest things in the world, so he gets you to focus on the great things that are happening. And then guess what happens? You go and talk about him. And guess what happens then? Your friends go and see him. Therefore, he doesn't have to do traditional advertising. He has the holy grail of advertising, which is having people talk about him. Cardenas Law Group. Right? And when it's on the tip of your tongue, it's just because it's what you focus on. What you focus on, you'll talk about. In verse, this is pretty strong because when there's this many references to one verse, or to one saying, it's strong. So in verse 4, 9, 12, 14, 23, and 24, dirty work creates clean results. Dirty work creates clean results. I tell you, people say it like big hat, no cattle, all talk, no action. Talking loud, saying nothing. Dirty work, when someone puts in the work, it creates clean results. I think about it with my buddy, Peter Anthony. He's a marketing genius, but literally like we just had a conversation for about an hour and a half. I love that dude. But he puts in the work. He puts in the work to adjust and understand how things work. And because he's doing the dirty work that nobody sees, he's getting clean results that people get shocked by. In verse 6, 8, 15, 26, and 27, whatever you seek, you will find. Now, some people could say, like, that's a reiteration of the first thing that you said, you will see what you focus on. But watch this. Seeking is different. Seeking is different. Whatever you seek. Seeking is different than if you're just looking for it. When you seek it, you're focused in, you're locked in. And when you're locked in, you'll find it all the time. And that can be good and can be bad. That's what I would suggest is seek wisdom. This is what my mom told me from a very early age. I didn't understand it. I was like, Mom, I'm trying to seek, the right toys or seek the Magnum PI Ferrari. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to seek the best gold chain because I was watching Run DMC. What she was saying is seek wisdom, son. It'll bring all the rest of that stuff. What you seek, you will find. So just be conscious of what you're seeking. In verse 10, 11, 20, 28, rejoice in the little things. This is what I hear my mom all the time in this is rejoice in the little things, rejoice in the little things, rejoice in the little things. In verse 13, 21, and 31, focus on the good always. This one, I hear my brother's voice in my head. Like, keep it positive, man. Say, focus on the good. There's always something good. I said to a woman the other day, she called me because I was, or actually texted me through Instagram. Direct message is what it's called. And she reached out and she was asking about the Vibe experience. We were talking back and forth. And I just said to her, I said, how was the walkout? Because she had a walkout in her salon and I had spoken at an event. And I right before I went up, she said, she said that she had a walkout, but she had repaired her business. And I said, what have you done to prepare for the walkout that you don't know is coming yet? And she just looked at me and she got really serious. And she was like, wait a second. And then she called me 2 weeks later after the convention that I had done the keynote at. And she said, you know what? There was a walkout and I wasn't prepared. But I asked her today, I said, how's the walkout? Because, things seem to be going well. And she said, I'm maintaining, I'm doing well, it's coming through. And I said, there's always a silver lining. And then I put afterwards, but most of the time it's gold and platinum. Because when something challenging happens, there's always something good. There's always something good if you look for it. If you're seeking it, then you'll find it. In verse 16, 17, and 29, a quick temper fosters insecurities. I had this happen the other day. I did a post and I had a collaborator on it, and the collaborator just removed themselves. And I was like, oh my gosh, do they not like me anymore? I called them. They're like, no, hey, everything's good. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. And I overreacted. When you're got a quick temper, you're quick into action, without thinking, sometimes it fosters those insecurities, and those insecurities end up with silly behavior. So just be conscious of it. In verse 18, 19, 22, 33, and 34, the good always outweighs the bad. Always. The good always outweighs the bad if you're looking for it. In verse 30, a heart at peace gives life to the body. You see, as we go along, let me go back to verse 18, 19, 22, 33, and 34 that I was talking about. The good always outweighs the bad. If you're focused on it, you're looking for it. But if you're looking at the little gnats that are happening in your life, then anything can be bad. Anything. We all have that friend. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. You go to Disneyland and they're like, oh, yeah, I heard there's a lot of, bad food there that, people just have a bad time. And, someone fell off a roller coaster and, it's just a bad place to be. And you're like, no, it was a good place for me because I was focused on it. I was spending time with my family. It's good. But the Debbie Downer, we always have that. But sometimes we're the own Debbie Downer in our own mind. Watch out for the gnats. Just know that they're coming. Know that they're going to be there. But the blessings are so much larger. Sit in and take stock of it. Count your many blessings, as my mom used to say. In verse 32 and 34, seeking God always works. Seeking God, it's as simple as that. Seeking God always works. Because when you seek God, you'll see that his words, his actions, they're in line. And when they're in line, then you'll have respect for him, which will be the translation of fear of God was actually meant respect of God, which will be the beginning of wisdom. Wisdom will bring knowledge. Knowledge will bring understanding. Understanding will bring insight. Insight will bring discretion. When you have discretion, it'll build discernment. Discernment will breed discipline. And discipline will bring strength. And that strength will lead you right back to the fear or respect of God. But seeking God always works. When you slow down and you seek him, it's amazing what could happen. But it's so simple that most of the time we just overlook it. And when we seek him, we'll see the blessings as opposed to the gnats. The smallest little gnat can ruin the biggest blessing if you focus on it. God has provided unparalleled scenery for all of us to enjoy. So take a breath, relax, and soak it all in. Focus on the blessing, not the little gnats. So my question to every one of you is, what are the little gnats in your life that are trying to steal your focus and ultimately rob you of your joy? And I tell you, the more blessings you have in your life, the more gnats will be coming around. I want to encourage you, check out the Substack, handwritten newsletter if you want to read it. If you want to listen to it, keep us on the podcast, share it with one of your friends. There's one of your friends, I know it, that wants to hear or needs to hear this exact message. So share it with them. It's the greatest compliment that you can ever give me, honestly. And lastly, if you want to experience it, come to the Vibe Experience, April 12th. It's in Salt Lake City, a limited amount of people. We have about 75 people that can be in the room. We keep it highly curated. It's going to be unreal. Been another episode of Inchstones. My name is Kelly Cardenas. And I'm officially off the hot seat. Peace, love, and soul.
Nothing more on my mind. I got to shine, so every day I grind. Work in the morning, work in the evening. We's achieving, cause we believing. It's for certain, we put the work in. We ain't stopped just because it's hurting. Right before your eyes, so it's coming to no surprise. The takeover is televised. Over and over.